Dr. Payal Kohli joins us today in, of course, it's like a midsummer's night spring evening on her outfit. You look fantastic. We want to get right to your viewer comments. Gwen writes in this: I got the flu shot and I heard if I catch COVID-19, the symptoms might not be as bad. Please tell me this is true. Is this true?
You know, I wish I could say it was true, but unfortunately there's no scientific evidence at all to support that the flu shot actually modulates our response to COVID. Now, it does protect you from the flu, and 2% of people who get COVID will get secondary infections or other infections. So still a good idea to get it, but it doesn't really affect your response against COVID.
Sorry to tell you the wrong thing you didn't want to hear, but of course we're here to give you good information. Here's a super important question. As more cities make wearing those masks mandatory, Stanley wants to know, if I have a paper mask and I'm only going out once a week, can I reuse that mask every time? And this is, I'm sure, so many people want to know the answer.
So Stanley, you know, ideally the mask was designed for single use only and should only be used once. And studies have told us that the virus can last on paper for up to 5 days. So keep that in mind. But I know we don't live in an ideal world and supplies are short. So if you do need to reuse your mask, I have a few tips for you to follow. So first, make sure you label the inside and the outside of the mask. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people put the outside of the mask right next to their face when they put it back on.
Ooh.
And that can be bad because that's the dirty side.
Yeah.
The second is when you're storing it, make sure you store it in a paper bag and make sure you store the dirty side facing up and make sure the straps are not actually touching the outside of the mask. And then the final piece of advice, if you're reusing paper masks, check it every single time you wear it. Make sure there's no tears or damage that could affect it, because if there are, it's time to throw it out.
So they're fragile, like they say, that they're very fragile. Make sure you take care of those masks, guys. Mary Ann asks, should I stop wearing contacts and switch to glasses? Would that help reduce my risk of infection? Doc, I'm legally blind. I wear contacts every day. I didn't even think about this question.
Oh, really? Well, the answer, Marianne, is actually yes. So contacts do potentially increase your risk, and let me explain to you why that is. Yeah, because when you're wearing contacts, number one, you're touching your face more often. Number two, you're touching your eyes. And the American Academy of Ophthalmology has actually said that it is possible for the virus to get inoculated through your eyes. And then number three is we don't actually know how long the virus can live on the surface of the contact. So God forbid your contact gets contaminated, then you put it in your eye, that could be a source of infection. So if it's easy to wear glasses, do that. If you can't, if you're like Tori and you have to be on a national show and you can't put on your big reading glasses or whatever, then just make sure you wash your hands really well and make sure that those contacts are disinfected nicely every day. Keep that case really clean. So once a week you want to wash your contact case as well.
That's a really smart idea. Yeah, I have like Coke bottles. By the way, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I really want to see your glasses one day, so maybe you could do that for us next week.
Nerdy, cool teacher Tori. That's coming up next week. Our final viewer question real quick is something I'm sure a lot of people want to know. As we head into the summer season, Terry asks, can coronavirus spread through water, like a swimming pool, hot tub? It's a good question.
So the CDC has said it doesn't spread through our drinking water or the tap water. That's good news. They've also said that probably the chlorine and bromine in the pool are going to inactivate the virus. Having said that, I do not advise people to go to pools or hot tubs at this time that are not their personal pools or hot tubs, because number one, you can't really socially distance in a hot tub or in a pool very well. Number two, you know, if there's other things in the water like deodorant or body oils or lotions, or this part really grosses me out, if somebody pees in the water, that can actually inactivate the chlorine, so it doesn't work as well for the virus. And then finally, number three, if you think about it, when you're in the water, you're spitting a lot. And if somebody spits right in front of you and then you swim through that water and take a big mouthful or noseful of that, you know, spit, and it goes up in there, it can really increase your risk. So as much as I can't wait for the summer, this is not the right time for the pools. Hopefully later on things will change, but at this time I wouldn't advise it.
That's good to know. My appetite is totally gone now, but thank you. Before we go, we have a very short time for Dr. Kohli's silver lining l'chaim to everyone out there. South Korea reached a huge milestone. Tell us more.
So they've had 2 days of no cases, Tori, even though they had the second largest outbreak outside of China. And they did that through testing and contact tracing. So they have really laid out a blueprint for the rest of the world to follow. And I think we should follow that as well.
Unbelievable. South Korea also coming up with that disinfectant booth at air travel. Dr. Kohli, thank you so much. Go back to the ferries in the land in which you came. She will be back on Monday. If you have a question, bye love, about coronavirus you want answered, write us on social media or info@dailyblastlive.com on email. There's no panic, just prevention and precautions and a bright light from one beautiful Dr. Kohli.